Good afternoon, Olympia. Right now I'm just filming a kind of pretty part of Olympia on a pretty day. It's just nice to do that too. And there was this wonderful tree and blossom, and we've really been beaten by the rain lately, so I was surprised to even still see it kind of up and running. This is in Ye Old kind of Capitol neighborhood, and beyond these houses is really a cliff. They're sort of just kind of hanging there a bit by a thread, and we're going to just kind of maybe take a little bit of a tour. I'm going to hand the camera over, and thank you.
Hello everybody, so here is the nice part of town, as it's called. By the way, for those of you who don't know, I am also a good film artist if you didn't see yesterday's video. And for those of you who have any questions, no, I am not an intern. My mom runs the channel, so yeah. Ooh. So here are some more pretty homes. This is another nice home. Here's another. Ooh, there's another nice home right here, which I really like. Although I would probably change the paint color. And then there's that little house right next door to it. I really don't like gray on the house. I think it should be, I think they could do a lot more. And yes, there is the aqua house. I like the color aqua, but not on a house. Thank you very much. Then there's that pretty brick house. And the sun's out. Yay! And then there's a whole bunch of little back roads stuff. By the way, if you see any plaques around town, those are historical plaques. They tell about different events and things, and all you have to do is read them. And I do not know what happened to that house. It looks like a modern art museum went there and vomited. Same with that house. Wouldn't you agree, Mama?
There are some interesting designs. Now this one is rather Northwest-esque with its little sort of bonsai homage. And now this one is this might be the Goldberg residence, and I believe he owns Skolnick and is also on the Evergreen Board of Trustees, which I don't know is a very good position to be in at the moment. And we're sort of winding toward the Capitol. That looks like an old sort of homestead house, doesn't it? And here in front of us it says the Coach House, and that's a museum that's open sort of rarely.
Why?
I don't know. It's it might not have the funding. It might just be run by volunteers.
Another tip for if you ever come to visit Olympia, Washington, make sure you look for the plaques on any building or house. You can go up, read the plaque, and learn an interesting fact. Another fact about our capital is that it was founded in 1894. So there are 94 steps on the Capitol building. So yeah. But our first newspaper started in the year 1854, I believe. I learned all this in Washington State history. And by the way, don't just come to Olympia. Go up to Mount St. Helens. You'll also get to learn about the eruption and what happened there. Go to Cape Disappointment. You'll learn about why it's called that. But I will not tell you, that way I don't ruin it. Go to Dry Falls. You'll learn about why it's called that too. And make sure you don't just visit Olympia. Visit Ellensburg, which is almost the capital of Washington, but Oliwa stole it. Do not go up to Seattle or Tacoma because those are big towns and you do not want to see that. And make sure you see Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, all the Cascades. Make sure you really plan a day trip and don't just stick around the capital because it's whacked here and yeah. Also, there isn't much to do here besides just looking around the capital. Another tip for you who are visiting out of state or out of country is make sure that you plan ahead of time where you want to go in Washington State because our state is pretty big. Make sure that if you're visiting Eastern Washington, you know that it's very different from Western Washington. Eastern Washington is known for their hot climate. They're also known for being humid, I think. Is it, Mama?
Dry, more dry.
They're known for being dry.
But they have very cold winters.
They have very hot summers, very cold winters. And that's Eastern Washington. Western Washington is known for being wet, rainy. We're known for having wet. In Western Washington, where Olympia is, we're known for having wet winters and hot summers. So if you are not looking to come if you are not looking to get wet, go to Eastern Washington. If you don't mind the cold, come to Western Washington. Anyways, now you've basically seen everything that there is to see besides, another fact is that the Capitol / Governor's Mansion, it's haunted, according to rumors. And can you tell us anything about the haunting?
Well, it's interesting because the last time we were here, if you remember, we needed to go somewhere and they had the lead groundskeeper take us from one building to another because it was rather complicated and she happened to be there. And I asked the head groundskeeper, is the Governor's Mansion haunted? And she said, well, all the buildings here are haunted. And she said it's actually very hard to keep employees here, especially people who work at night. She said she has seen people run out of buildings at night and never see them again. They don't even come back for their paycheck. And she said she herself has seen ghosts. I don't know why she stays. I think that, the pay is really good and she's really honored that she's the lead groundskeeper, but she said she sometimes wonders just how much more she herself can take. So we'll just little snake our way through here since we're here. People are now getting a little tour of the Washington State Capitol, which almost slid down a hill during an earthquake.
Another fact about it was built in 1922 in New York City, and it almost...
Yes, the top definitely was made in New York City. Yes, it was.
But the bottom was constructed here. If you can see, it was cut out of limestone, granite, and rock. And it was cut into small pieces for easy transportation. Another thing that you should know when visiting Washington State is that when visiting the town of Olympia is that it is rather confusing. Do not expect, for those of you who live in Europe, your roads are all windy and stuff. We do not have that. Our roads are in blocks here. So if you're driving around here, just expect it to be a square. So basically what our roads are like here is they go straight, then you turn again, then you turn again. It's basically a square, and that is a block. So
they call it grid streets. Yeah. Here we've got a kind of overview of downtown and of that most unfortunate port of Olympia.
And of the mistake by the lake.
The mistake by the lake, indeed. Yes.
By the way, another thing that you should know about our town is that it can get a little confusing. Just think when someone says 4 blocks away, 4 grids away. And, yeah. Is that a good way to explain it? Okay. By the way,
that's the old conservatory, and I don't know if it's now permanently closed. They're saying, I believe, that because of the earthquake, that the conservatory is now too dangerous to exist anymore. And it's just heartbreaking because it was a really beautiful place to go. They just always had amazing plans. Now, if you've seen my little North Korea footage, if you look at the building here on the left, this sort of mid-60s atrocity or whatever, each floor had several agencies, and one of those floors had risk management, which billowed into that giant building that you always see me complaining in front of. The first floor of that became this silly place to the right, basically the State Patrol, which basically had like 15 employees on the left, and then became this giant building to the right, just one floor over there or less, really. I think the State Patrol was really in just the back quarter of the first floor. So that's what they're doing with that white building. They're billowing out the little offices, and they're, suddenly becoming these big poofy, several hundred billion, million dollar projects, not counting the over costs, which are usually several times the cost of the building. But anyway, sorry to get into that. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. And good luck